So Luke Kuechly talked on the Up and Adams show about Shemar Stewart, and I really don't understand this still. Like at this point, I understand like people are upset we didn't take certain players in this last draft, but I still don't understand like the complete like utter panic over taking Shemar Stewart. Like at this point, it happened. We took the guy. Let's just pray and hope for the best, right? Like at this point, you can't go back. You can't change who we drafted. And I understand, to a certain degree, being like, hey, that's bullcrap. Like we should have taken this guy, this guy, this guy. But at the end of the day, we did it. Okay, we did it. It's over with. Now he's a Bengal. We have to all come together. And even if we think he's not going to be the greatest, I think he will. I think he'll be great. I think he will be great. I think he's a disruptor. I think he can change the defensive line. I think he can get the quarterback out of the pocket and make it so that Trey can hunt. But personally speaking, even if you think he's going to be a bust, at this moment in time, because we want our Bengals to be the best, we have to come together and just say, let's hope it works out. Let's hope it works out. Let's hope our new defensive line coach, linebacker coach, Al Golden. I put 3 people in there. We have new defensive line, linebacker, and Al Golden. Let's just all hope and pray that it works out. And let's all be the biggest Shemar Stewart fans because he is on our team. For the next 4 years, potentially 5 with a 5th-year option, this is our new edge rusher. So, again, like I said, I understand the immediate upset about it. I was kind of upset to a certain degree. But I think now that it's a couple days later, we have to all come together and say, we are now the biggest Shemar Stewart fans because we want him to be successful. Because if he's successful, it helps us out, right? So that's kind of how I look at it at this point. But let's go ahead and listen to Luke Kuechly explain on the Up and Adams show why he's so good.
I met Shemar Stewart. I was talking about him to start the show as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, all the other 32 teams. We decided to focus on all the same ones today. But the Bengals, they take him 17th overall. Speaking of physical, he's got all the talent, all the skills, all the traits, right? Not a lot of production. That was the question mark. That's why I think he's such a great value to any team he went through. He goes to the Bengals, though, and that's a team that needs to win right now. That is a team that does not have time to develop. Okay. I would love to know from your perspective, and I looked it up this morning, my producers did, that it seems like it'll be the same sort of defense that they ran last year in Cincinnati, even though they changed DCs. What kind of an impact will he have in this scheme right away?
Well, I think what he gives you is he gives you flexibility to play inside and outside. He's got the size and the length and the athletic ability in a 4-down front to play like that true defensive end in the C gap or outside the tackle. He gives you that. He's got plenty of ability to do that. But what he also does is when they switch over and they play more of a 3-down front, more of a 3-4, he can slide inside, play over the top of a tackle, outside edge of the tackle, and be physical because he has great length. He's got explosiveness. He's 270 pounds. Some people might say he's a little bit undersized to be there, but what he has that's unique is explosive ability. So if he's just going to sit there and take on tackles, he's able to do that. But what he is able to do is that twitchiness, that length, the ability to get vertical and shoot gaps. It gives him great ability to line them up outside.
How great can he be outside of all these? There's all these questions about him, stacking him up against the other guys in this draft class. How good can he be?
I think his ceiling for edge rushers as a true defensive end, I think is the best in the draft. I kind of exclude Abdul Carter because he's more of a stand-up outside backer, but I think Shemar's ceiling out of anybody in the draft is the highest because at raw athletic ability, physicality, length, explosiveness, if they can figure that out, he's going to be really.
All right, so kind of breaking that down. Yeah. And I think here's what I'll say, right? His floor is unknown. And a lot of times in the draft, you want to take a guy who has really good high ceiling, but you want to have a guy who has a solid floor. And that's the thing about Shemar Stewart that's, I guess, in a way, kind of so interesting, is as Luke said here, his ceiling is the stars, it's the moon, it's the, as high as you can go ceiling-wise. And that's why I call him a project when we drafted him, because it really is. But it's a project that is worth the risk and worth developing because of how high his ceiling is. Normally when you draft a guy, when you take a guy, there's only so good he's going to be. There's only so, there's only such a level that you're like, okay, this guy's going to be this. This guy is going to be, at best, we expect him to be this. That's not the case with Shemar Stewart. And we heard this with Micah Parsons, who's a, legend in the game right now. We heard this from an actual future Hall of Famer, Luke Kuechly here. It's a situation where it's like this guy has the potential to be through the roof. Again, now it comes down to us developing him. And I've seen a lot of people say, well, our positional coaches, they can't develop anything. Look what they did with Myles Murphy. But remember, we did get a new defensive line coach and a linebacker coach, and we got a new defensive coordinator. So we have to throw this narrative out right now, at least, that, well, look at our past. We couldn't do it before. What makes us think we can do it now? We got new positional coaches. And we owe our new positional coaches the right to show us whether or not they are good enough to do so. Same thing with Scott Peters. This is why I'm holding out my judgment on Cordell Volson, because we can't sit here and say what the future is going to be based on the past, because we don't know what our new positional coaches will do. It's like you hiring someone new for a job and expect, oh, well, because management and because, higher ups has been crap, this guy's automatically going to not, do his job. No, that's not the case. Everyone deserves their day in court, as in, metaphorically, when it comes to you get someone new for the job, everyone deserves the, 100% back them up until they prove otherwise. So I'm excited for Shemar Stewart. I am. Again, like I said, I don't think he's ever going to be the guy personally that is going to put up 16 sacks or Trey Hendrickson numbers. But what I think he will be is exactly what he was at Texas A&M, and that's going to be a disruptor. He's going to cause quarterbacks to get out of the pocket. He has plenty of speed off the edge that he's going to cause, the quarterback to kind of have to move around, and that's going to get Trey Hendrickson and other guys to be able to eat and be able to get after the quarterback. So I'm excited for him. And again, like I said, it's one of those things where we're now hearing a second player, a future Hall of Famer, really praising this guy. And again, this is why the Bengals took him, because this is a guy where if you hit on this guy, you're talking about an absolute superstar, and that's why they went for it. They could have went for a safer pick. Again, like I said before, it is what it is, but they went for a guy that they think can go through the stars, and that's exactly what we see with Shemar Stewart. So I'm excited for it. Hopefully, again, I do believe it will work out in the end, and let's just see how everything shapes out. But shout out to Luke Kuechly and the Kay Adams Show. As always, Queen, we love her. Tell me down below your thoughts, Pete, and see you guys next one. Peace.